Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Word. We weed out the good, the bad, the creepy, so you don't have to. Join us as we discuss our latest book club reads and content recommendations. All topics are dissected and debated from a creative's perspective. New episodes are posted every second and last Thursday of the month. Watch Dark Side of the Word on YouTube or listen to the audio-only version on iHeart, Apple, and Spotify. Hello, friends. Welcome back. It is time for another book club episode. In this episode, as the title says, as you probably know, we're going to be talking about Listen to Your Sister by Neena Viel.
Viel? I have no clue.
Viel?
Neena, Viel.
Welcome to the episode where we do not know how to pronounce names.
Nope, we do not. Listen to your sister. That's what we need to know. That's the title of the book. That's what people will remember.
Listen to your sister. But first, before we get into the book, it's my favorite time of the episode just to catch up with each other, catch up with our listeners, just talk about stuff. And CJ wants to do something a little different today, so I'm kind of excited.
So if you don't like it, I apologize.
Yes, blame her, not me.
Yeah.
No, but she was thinking we could do what we're reading right now, what we're watching right now, or just finished, because I literally just finished something and haven't picked my next thing, and what project we're working on.
I like the idea. I think it's good.
I think it's great, and I think that that's better than just giving a humdrum update every week.
Especially since we might not have an actual update like every week or every other week, because some of us are a little slow and lazy sometimes.
It's called Slow Productivity, ma'am.
It is called Slow Productivity.
And if anyone listens to Amy from Inspired to Write, you put your bare minimum and then half it.
I have started taking, well, not as much anymore because she isn't feeling as well, but I have started taking walks with my 84-year-old neighbor who I love. And, she's 84 and she has some hip problems, so she walks a little more slowly. And the other day she was like, I'm slowing you down. I know it. I'm sorry. And I'm like, I'm just trying to live a slower and more productive life that way. So you are actually embracing slow living and helping me to embrace slow living as well. I'm like, so thank you for that.
Exactly.
Thank you for the reminder.
You get to see more on your walk and actually take a minute. And I'm sure you guys are getting a lot of flowers now.
Yes, it is gorgeous. Everything is in bloom right now. My garden is in bloom right now. I go out every day to see how tall the irises have gotten and what blooms are starting to come out. It's just a magical fantasy time in my yard.
I hate you. We're essentially summer.
Yeah. I don't like summer here because of all the greenery. Greenery is very nice, but it's all one color green. And right now we have the different colors and shades of green, and I love that. And then it'll all go away in a month.
Yeah, it's gone
that's
for
my
us.
life all the time.
Yep, we haven't hit the devil's armpit yet, but we
devil's armpit.
We are in summer.
Summer. Okay. The devil's armpit. I love that phrase. I want to use it, but it does not apply to New Jersey, but I can definitely see how it applies to Florida in the summer. When
you come visit me, you can tell people, I went to the devil's armpit.
I will not visit the devil's armpit in the dead of summer, though. I think I'll have to go when hell freezes over a little bit in the colder months.
Freezes over, sure. All right, let's start with what we're reading. Do you want to go first?
Okay, I will start. I am reading The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, who wrote the guest list that came out a few years ago. I'm liking The Midnight Feast before. I liked the guest list. I haven't read her other books. One was something about an apartment in Paris. It was a dark gray cover with bright red lipsticky type writing on the cover. That was the one that you might remember, because I was seeing it everywhere. But The Midnight Feast is about a glamorous hotel that opens up on the Dorset coast in England, but they had to kind of work through the land that may be enchanted with folklore and stuff. So, Kate, I think you would like this book so far, because there's some things about folklore and mysticism and the pagan woods and stuff. And there's a bit of mystery because somebody turns up dead at some point and we don't know who, so it's an Agatha Christie type mystery. And I am liking it. It's very spooky, a little ominous, and just good setting, good atmospheric suspense, I think.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should add that to my October reading list.
It's not spooky enough for October, I think, but like November when you want just like a good cuddle under the blanket with a damp chill outside.
Well, it's funny because I had that thought and then my body immediately revolted a little bit because I think that we read horror all year long, that it's just like the idea of reading straight horror for a whole month now sounds horrendous and torturous. And then I had this idea of like, I don't know if I'm doing it this year. Maybe I will do like,
Maybe I'll take a break.
It's October. I am the opposite in October. I read like fluffy books.
What is it? There's something like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe or like some trio of books about that. And then there's like a Christmas one too. But try those ones.
There we go. At Christmas in October.
Yeah. Oh, you have to read that. What is it? Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca that takes place in Florida. She moves to a haunted town, like a touristy haunted town. It's so cute. It's so well done, too. You will love that one.
I mean, supposedly we have a lot of haunted towns here, and we even have a city that is essentially just like witches.
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
Don't ask me the name because now I don't remember.
Well, that's not helpful for anybody, is it?
But I was told very clearly as a kid, and it got brought up in like a different conversation recently, but I was told as a kid never go there because they worship Satan.
Oh my God, now I kind of want to go even more.
I kind of want to go too. Maybe when you visit, we will go because it's not that far from me.
We'll put on all of our protective crystals and we'll go for a few
We'll hit this rock shop that's going to make you die, and then we'll go there.
Okay, that sounds good. So what are you reading right now?
So I finally, thankfully, because the library finally gave it to me on hold. The fifth book of Jennifer Armentrout for, I think I have to look at the title because it's one of those, A Soul of Ash and Blood.
Which again sounds like every other fantasy title out there right now.
100%. So it's from the Blood and Ash series. The sixth and hopefully final book comes out this summer. So I'm hoping that's over because, I don't know, So it is the fifth book. And I'm seeing this trend, and I almost to the point want to do like a little rant video about this because I'm seeing this trend, and I don't know if I'm the only person that fully hates it, where you have a long series, say 5 or 6 books of the fantasy series, and you get to this part where they, instead of continuing the story on, they like go backwards and tell the first book from a different perspective, essentially. So say this is more of a romantasy book. If anyone knows Jennifer Armentrout, she writes very romantic or straight romance books. And so essentially these first 4 books were told from the main female protagonist, love interest part of the story. And something has happened. And now we are being told like her love interest side of the first book in book 5. And it's just really annoying. They also did it with the, what's the name? It's the Tracy Wolf series that her like 6 as well. They did it
like
with that.
Crave or something?
Yes, thank you. Crave. Okay. They did it with that one as well. I think it was also the 4th or 5th book. And I mean, I know when Twilight, they came out with, was it Midnight
version?
Something, Midnight Soil.
Sun.
Midnight Sun. And they did.
I don't know.
But that was at least when the series was over. But also that was technically book 5.
Yeah. I did not read that one because I'm like, I don't really care to know what everything thinks.
I have not read it. Because again, I'm just like, I'm bored. I want the story to progress. I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm not the person, to rehash and relive the story. So I'm getting through that now. So I'm a little
bummed.
Little bummed and bored.
That stinks. You should try the book I'm reading next. So far, it is quite good.
I know. Do you see this stack right here?
I know, yeah.
If you're just listening, I have a stack behind me. Those are all the books I need to read now. Yeah. Because the library, decided it was a great idea.
I am on staycation this week, and so yesterday, on my first day of staycation, I treated myself with a trip to the library. And I was going to go to 2 libraries, but I actually found 3 books at the library that I really wanted to read. I'm like, I can probably, and I have a few arcs that I have to read too. But I'm like, I wanted just all the books. So now I have like 5 or 6 books to get through this week between arcs and library books because I went a little crazy. With the library books.
But it's okay.
I'm quite happy about it. They had a copy of Broken Country at the library, which is like the new. It's literary fiction, so I don't think you will enjoy it. But it's on the Reese's list. But it's making big waves, and it's supposed to be really good. And I'm curious. So it has a pretty cover. But I was like, they actually have a copy in stock at my library. I'm grabbing it.
Was it like a Sizzler or something?
I think it's in the same vein of Where the Crawdads Sing, where it goes into a lot of different genres and is very different.
I mean, I meant Sizzler, as in libraries will do Sizzler books where you can only get them for like a week or 2 weeks, and you can't renew them. And
I can't renew. It's the 2 weeks. I don't think I can renew,
okay,
but
we call them Sizzlers at my library.
Oh,
They're called
okay.
Sizzler books.
Yeah, we do not call them. We just call them the 2 week loans, non-renewable. Less catchy.
Yeah. Sorry. You should put a notice into your library, like, and
I should. Sizzlers. So it makes me think of the steak chain house back in the 90s, though. Sizzlers. And then now I want a good steak. Damn it.
Ugh, okay. I had the best steak Friday as a reward.
Yum. Yum.
It was a good reward day. Two big things happened. So, all right, what are you watching right now?
Okay, I am super excited. And this is basically why I wanted to introduce this category back into the podcast, because I binge watched on my staycation yesterday with my husband this show on Apple TV called Invasion. Now, it is about aliens, and we all know I hate aliens.
Yeah, I know. When you told me, I was like, what?
Very surprised. You're very surprised. But I have discovered I really only am very afraid of aliens when they are the kind that's going to abduct you and or look humanoid. If they are...
Fourth kind, signs.
Fourth kind, yeah. So if they're just invading a la Independence Day, I'm there for that shit, man. I'm all over that. And so I watched a show called Invasion. I don't know if I mentioned the title. It's called Invasion. The first season was 10 episodes. We watched it all day yesterday. We watched the whole season. It is fantastic, and I loved it. It's like Signs meets Independence Day meets Lord of the Rings.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. And meets something else that I tried to think of last night, and I can't remember what it is now because I'm over 40 and I don't remember things. But those were the main gist is Signs, Independence Day, and Lord of the Rings. So, super good. There's a season 2. I cannot wait to watch. Because
are there only 2 seasons?
I don't know. I don't like to look and see how many there are because I'm afraid they might give me like spoilers away in the episode names.
It's already canceled. Because when I went and looked it up on IMDb to get an idea, it said 2021 to 2025.
Oh, well, then it had more than one season. It must have.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe 3 or 4. I mean,
okay,
2021.
That's good. I mean, I can't see them playing it out for more than a few seasons, honestly. So I thought it was going to be a limited series because they were wrapping it up kind of well. But yeah, I highly recommend. Great to lose yourself in. Great drama. Amazing acting. I love that. All these different networks now, like Apple and Paramount, Netflix, Hulu, like there's just so many more opportunities for us to see amazing actors out there because there's more things for them to be in than just what Hollywood A-listers are putting out, so you get so many great things these days.
I also just feel like Apple TV has a higher quality to it than I've seen in the other streamers. Recently, they're very deliberate about what they pick and what they're putting on, because I know you didn't like it, but I love Dickinson. I think that Foundation is just phenomenal. I've heard, Severance I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah.
I want to watch The Silo because that also looks really good.
My
as
husband
well.
added that too.
I don't know. I feel like it's really good.
There was something by Billy Crystal that I saw advertised too that I added to my watch list. That's like kind of spooky-ish looking. I forget what it's called, but I was like, oh, Billy Crystal, boom, and spooky, boom, added it too.
I don't recognize that name.
Billy Crystal, When Harry Met Sally, which we watched on our retreat.
Yes.
And he's been in like so many other things too that I can't even think of others to name, but just like in everything.
It was okay. Wait, hey, we don't. Yeah.
Okay. What are you watching When Harry Met Sally, hater?
Well, I actually am not currently on anything because I just finished Etoile. Oh my god, I got CJ hooked on it. I think I got a couple more people hooked on it. It is amazing. Surprisingly, it is on Prime. I did not expect Prime to produce something so well, but they did do a great job with Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and it's no surprise this is as good as Marvelous Mrs. Maisel because it's by the same creator. She wrote, directed, and created it, Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband. She's also the one that did Gilmore Girls, for who lives under a rock and does not know. But I was unsure after the first episode. I did think I was like, okay, maybe she lost some of her magic. But once you get past the inciting incident, the setup, everything happening, the reason everything's happening, you meet Cheyenne, because I love her.
Cheyenne. Yeah, the wild child.
Even CJ has been converted to loving her as well.
I did. At first I was like, she is a lot. And then as it went on, I'm like, I love her. You can't not love her.
Yeah. It is just a fun. I love that it is has English and French in it. It's just a feel-good thing. I think in my mind, especially when you get to the last episode, CJ, so you'll understand too at the last episode, but the whole thing just felt like a love letter to art as well, because they make a lot of references to how art is so important. Art saves, communities and societies, how we need to be funding this again. And I really appreciated that part of it. Besides the fact that it's fucking ballet, because I will watch any ballet thing.
Center stage, man. Center stage.
I love just dance movies in general that aren't like, what was it that they had? Step Up. Step Up wasn't fun.
No, that's not as. That's okay. It's okay. It's not ballet as much.
But
and ballet. There's some ballet in it, but not as the same way.
And ballet company drama.
Yeah. This is the best. It's just the best. I absolutely love it too.
It's so good. And so I really love that part. And I definitely feel like, did they grab professional dancers who just happen to be able to act? Because there's no way these people were actors that trained enough to be able to do ballet as well as they're doing.
I was wondering about that too, because, there are so many, think about it the way the writing world is. There are so many amazing writers out there who never get a chance to be published or, big names. But they're still amazing at their craft because they've been working at it for years and years. And I think the same goes for the dance world, that, there's a handful, a couple hundred places in ballet companies, around the world that you can actually make it as a paid dancer. And there's all these other people who've been training for years, and they're amazing. They're just not professional, but they still can kick ass on stage more than you or I ever could, So even they're not as good as professionals is still amazing,
Yeah. So it just makes me wonder, because their acting is also just really good.
Yeah, way better than it was in Center Stage with those people. I love that movie, but my God, some of the acting was just absolutely painful.
And they were definitely actors who did dance. So
yeah,
they should have been a little better. But yeah, so I've had a blast. I binged that in 3 days. It's done. It's over. There will be a season 2. Don't worry.
Yay.
They actually signed it directly with 2 seasons when they signed it.
Nice. I like that Amy Sherman Palladino, is that her name? Yeah. I like that I don't know what else she's made besides those big 3, but Gilmore Girls was a nice, cozy, heartwarming show. And then you have Mrs. Maisel, that is laugh out loud funny, irreverent, and a completely different thing than Gilmore Girls. And now you have Etoile, which I feel is completely different from Mrs. Maisel and Gilmore Girls, because it's a bit darker, a bit more satirical. It has that wry French je ne sais quoi to it and stuff. And I just love people who can make art in all different genres and forms. That's how I want to be as a writer, is not writing one genre all the time, but trying to just explore all the different mediums.
I don't know how she does it, but all of her shows have so much character to them and to the individual people. It's not just told from one point of view. Yeah. They're so widespread. I mean, I think that's why we did love the Gilmore Girls and even Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, is because it's such a wide cast. And the craziness is that they're not cookie cutter. They're not a repeat of anything. I cannot say that one character is the same character. Oh, this reminds me of the person from Mrs. Maisel. No, they are completely 1,000% different. And it's crazy that she has such a grasp of human emotion and psyche and ability to do this.
Yeah, I agree. Well put. Well put.
Such imagination. But yeah, so I'm excited. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts when you're done, CJ.
Yay.
I'm sad it's over, though. I have such a hangover.
I will. That's why I'm drawing it out. I'm watching it slowly. Same with at the end of Call the Midwife. I'm at the last 2 episodes of the most recent season, and I haven't watched them. I'm saving them for when I really need a comfort show, and yeah.
Well, I guess that's actually what I'm watching. I found a way to get Escape to the Chateau again, so I can get my partner to watch it with me.
There you go.
So I forgot about that. So I'm watching that. All right, what are you working on?
I am still working on the Ghost Children book. I have made progress. I am at around chapter 20 or 21 now with revisions, and I'm happy with it. I had a good couple weeks of revision and a breakthrough, and I'm really happy with it. I'm going forward. I actually had a really good talk with my husband a couple days ago about like plot points and ideas. And he's just, even though he's not a writer, he's a very creative person, and he just has really good insight into things. And I wish I had talked to him sooner, because it blew some stuff like wide open for me that really needed to happen. And I am taking this week off from writing because I'm on a staycation and I need a break from just everything. But I'm excited to jump back into it next week because I have some good ideas on where to go. So yay!
I'm excited. And I am working through CJ's chapters that I've had for way too long and I feel horrible about. I promise. I did one today.
Oh,
I hope
good.
I get another one done.
Should I check the comments? Or is it okay?
I did not drag it into the folder yet.
Okay, that's okay. But that's okay. I'm on staycation. It's okay.
When we're done here, I will be dragging it out. I got interrupted on my dog's physical therapy. Okay, I was like, I'm done.
Is a reasonable excuse, and I forgive you.
I am still working on my book, final revisions before heading to an editor. I'm on chapter 4, so it's slow and steady. I've definitely been keeping up with the 30-minute writings 5 days a week. You know, I don't try to do it on the weekends because that's just too insane. So that's been going really well. I've also been working very hard on mental health and like taking care of self-care when it comes to autism and things like that. I just got this new book that has kind of just blown the lid off a lot of stuff about my life and kind of intense and like, oh shit. No wonder I've been having a lot of issues and I feel burnt out. So we're working through that. I'm supposed to be making a list right now of things that give me positive emotions and I froze.
Our podcast. You're like, no, not always. Listeners, try not to take that to heart the way I have.
Like, I like it, but does the act of doing it actually produce a warm fuzzy in me that gives me like we're trying to do things
Valid.
like, you know how a good cup of tea just sends that like dopamine and like that's those are the positive emotions.
Okay, I see where we're going with this. We're not a hygge podcast, so I will let that slide.
I have to, be on.
Be on. That's true.
But I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't like find some enjoyment out of it. But we're just looking. So this would probably go. I don't know if anyone's heard of PERMA. It's a psychology thing where it's an acronym for, I believe, positive emotions, encouragement, relationships, meaning, and achievement. So I would say the podcast is more of like meaning and achievement than a positive emotion.
Okay.
So we're just on P. And I'm already failing.
Hugging your pet. That is a positive emotion. All right, we'll continue this coaching session offline later.
Yeah, let's continue this for a second. So if you are sick and tired of us babbling and you just came to talk about listen to your sister here, we are finally to that part. But before we get started, just a quick word. And if you're new to the podcast, then welcome! We love having you here. We want to take a second to go over a few things about our episodes. 1. Dark Side of the Word is hosted by Kait and CJ, two writers and creatives who can't get enough books, shows, movies, or podcasts about all things dark and creepy. 2, we're generally a book club podcast, meaning that we will be discussing the book in the episode title. There will be detailed spoilers, so if you haven't read the book yet, you might want to click away and check out our other episodes. 3, we love exploring stories with haunted houses, dark academics gone rogue, serial killer thrillers, reimagined monsters and myths, and so much more. 4, this also means that we're going to be discussing mature and sometimes triggering content, whatever the themes are featured in the book. If you're underage and you don't think that your parents are going to like you reading the book, then they're probably not going to like you listening to this podcast. Otherwise, thank you again for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a book, and use the comment section to continue the conversation or share your thoughts. friends, it is time to talk about Listen to Your Sister and to discuss all things about the book. But first I'm going to take a second and read the back of the book, the synopsis for you. If you don't have your book yet, you can also use our bookshop links below to get your own copy, or say you got it from the library and you love it so much and you want to support this author. You can also support us by using our bookshop.org links below. We won't judge you on who you pick. Just pick one. 25-year-old, did we say it was Calla? Are we going to go with Calla?
Calla, okay. Like a lily.
Calla lily.
That's what
Which are the funeral flower, fun fact.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Dark. Side of the word.
Well, fun fact is it's also was my grandmother's favorite flower. So I just, I mean, she also paints genitalia into paintings, but that's another
Really? Okay. We're going to have a discussion about that.
Yeah, I got one of her biggest paintings when she passed away. I inherited one, and it took a few years, but I finally looked at it one day and was like, Grandma!
Do you have it hanging in your home?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Yes, dirty grandma paintings.
24-year-old Callie Williams is struggling since becoming guardian to her brother Jamie. Calla is overwhelmed and tired of being the one who makes sacrifices to keep the family together. Jamie, full of good-natured 16-year-old recklessness, is usually off fighting for what matters to him or getting into mischief, often at the same time. Dre, their brother, promised he would help raise Jamie, but now that the ink is dry on the paperwork, in classic middle child fashion, he's off doing his own thing. And through it all, the nightmare never stops haunting Callie, reoccurring images of her brother's dying that she is powerless to stop. When Jamie's actions at a protest spiral out of control, the siblings must go on the run, taking refuge in a remote cabin that looks like it belongs on a slasher movie poster rather than on Airbnb. The siblings now face a new threat where their lives and reality hang in the balance. Calla always warned her brothers about her nightmares. They really should have listened.
Dun dun dun.
All right, now what's funny, listeners, if you like our usual normal routine, I know what CJ rated it because I'm always rushing to finish this book at the last second. But things are flipped and I finished it before CJ. Ha!
You did. I slogged through this one. I put off reading it as much as possible because I could not stand it. 1 star.
One star.
That's it for me.
I mean, I'm not entirely surprised because you did accidentally let it slip in the chat that you were struggling to read it. I wouldn't say it was for me, it wasn't 1 star. I gave it 3.
3?
So
okay.
I think a part of it was because I don't know. Maybe there's a difference, but I have seen kind of a trend with horror books and the tropes and the styles and how a lot of it's like, oh, ghost, a specter, a haunted house, so this is, just very similar plot ideas. And so I really appreciated this one, felt unique and different to me. I really enjoyed the nightmare aspect of the story and how she had to relive this horrible moment but it would allow other versions of herself to go save her brothers in real life. And then it all went down to a moment when she first saved them. That was a great reveal for me. I really liked the reveal at the end that they had died. And she did save them by splitting herself up. I really liked that.
They died?
Yeah, you didn't get that?
I may have skimmed a large portion of the dream sequence.
So
I read the whole thing, but I'm not going to say that I read it well.
The book was really a hardcore 2 stars for me until the end when everything was come together and you understood everything that was happening. Then it got bumped up to 3 because essentially the Dre ended up getting, in real life.
In real life, okay.
In real life, Dre ended up getting into the car with his dad. His dad told him that he had a whole new family.
And back in the day.
Yeah,
right?
they were expecting a baby, and it made Dre really upset, and he ended up, I believe, punching his dad or, causing some sort of ruckus in the car that made his dad swerve, and they hit and pinned Jamie on a light pole and, crashed. And so Jamie and Dre ended up dying in real life.
Really?
And Calla saw that, and she had the whatever moment, the insanity, where she split herself up, and they all came back to life, and she brought them back to life. And ever since that moment, she has the nightmares which keep them alive.
Wow. See, that sounds great. I wish it had been written in a way that I wanted to read that. God damn it. That sounds amazing.
Which is why this got bumped up to 3 stars, because I thought that it was original and fun, and to undo the nightmare at the end, she had to actually live that moment, because she had blocked it from her memory, and she had to go and live that moment and watch them actually die in the dream for them to all like wake up in reality and everything to be okay, for her to bring all the pieces back into herself again. So she can't ever save them again from here on out.
Okay, so they gotta get their act together, both of them, because she's no longer on duty. Okay. Yeah, that sounds amazing, and like a book I would totally want to read, except that I feel like what I read did not even come close to the grandeur of what that promises.
Yeah, I think I will pull this card. That I do think that there's a cultural disconnect between us as readers and this book.
Yes, I will absolutely acknowledge that as well.
Because I think that there's a lot to, the Black culture and the dialogue and the way that, I don't know how to say it, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
There were words I did not know. There were situations with which I was not familiar, and there were some things that just, I did not understand them.
Yeah, and I think that that is one of the reasons is we just could not relate as much to the story and the characters as, say, someone, who's also Black was reading this. Because I think as a story and concept and a plot, it is phenomenal. It was just the setting and the characters were a little difficult.
See, it was the writing for me. So in the beginning so I fell in love with Listen to Your Sister in the first paragraph. She was talking about the sports bras and wearing the wrong sports bras and her affinity for chicken fingers. And I love the way that when Calla is sitting in front of like that in-school suspension officer or something, she's trying to guess his name. His first name begins with P. So she's just running through all these different names with P, like Peter, Phineas, all these things. It was hilarious. I love the humor in this. And I was like, I wrote in my journal, I'm like, all right, this is going to be an awesome book because I love this author's style. I love the way she's writing. I love her humor. It's so fresh and so different and so unique and so honest and real. And I'm like, this is going to be great. I fell out of love with the book during the protest scene, and my disenchantment just steadily increased as the book wore on, because I feel like, the protest scene and the brutality scene that followed it immediately, they stuck out to me because they are really pivotal scenes in the book. But I found the events in them so hard to follow. Everything just didn't, it felt like I was reading a book written in a fever dream, and not in a good way that I could enjoy. Like Cynthia Paleo writes kind of like a fever dream, but I can follow that for some reason. This felt very disjointed. I didn't know what was going on. I was confused about everything, what was real, what was not. And maybe she did that in a way to like mimic the confusion of the characters, because I feel like from the protest scene on, the whole book is just a fever dream. And again, I can see why one might do it for atmosphere, but I could not follow a damn thing. And when the spooky elements happened, all the horror elements, I feel like they were completely lost for me with everything else that was going on, because there was so much going on for me. So this was more a story about family and dynamics, which I know it is, but not as much horror because I couldn't pick those things out. So I was just very confused throughout a lot of it. And I felt like I also got annoyed after a while, because I feel like the author makes some really good points. And like, how much it sucks for Calla to be raising Jamie and how hard it is, because Jamie's a pain in the ass and like Dre doesn't help her. Like I was totally team Calla because she is working so hard and these ungrateful little shits are not appreciating all the hard work that she is doing. And so like the author makes that point, and then she makes it again, and then she makes it again, and then again and again. And I was like shoved down my throat, and I'm like, okay, we get it. It is really hard. And the same thing for all the main points with Dre and all the main points with Jamie. And I'm just like, I feel like I've been hit over the head with this 5 billion times. So by the time I got to the middle of the book, I'm like, can everybody just please die already so this book can end? Because I did not want to hear any more. I don't even want to say the word whining, because they have legit concerns and issues. But by the time we got toward the end, I felt like it was whining because it was just the same thing we've heard over and over again. And I feel like that's to blame from bad developmental editing. We could have cut out a lot of stuff from there.
No, I agree with you too. I think that a lot of the writing was disjointed because I felt that we would get to be in point A and then all of a sudden we'd be in D, and I was like, okay, where did I get lost in the other
I was
letters?
flipping back all the time.
Like, I remember one specific moment when Jamie was in the car and he saw the Coke and he had the gun and then, like, something, I guess Grandma Callie or Grandma, whatever version was shaking the car, but I didn't actually understand any of that scene until later when it was described more from Jamie and they were, like, figuring it out. And I do agree with you that that happened a lot. And sometimes, I don't know if this is the reality of what happened, but can we say Neena? Are we going to go with that?
We'll say Neena.
Okay. Because it felt like Neena would have them, even in the middle of a conversation, be going left, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm going to suddenly make them go right, and we're going to go with this idea instead with the solution. And I don't know. Yeah, how we got from around to things and how decisions were made. And just some of the choices too. Can go for the sensational, but when the sensational doesn't even make sense, like what was the whole point of the Airbnb? Like why was it that bad?
I was expecting that to factor in a lot more to the story itself, and they could have done what they did anywhere because they were just in a dream state the whole time.
Like, they could have been in like a crappy motel. I just don't understand how the setting of the Airbnb with the specific nasty couch and the nasty rug played
so
a part.
Remote.
The remote made a little sense because they're running away. You know, and they were looking for cheap, but just why did it... I don't know. Why did it have to be as disgusting as it was? So we wouldn't feel bad that they were tearing it up, because really they did.
Yeah.
You ain't get your deposit back.
Yeah, I felt like and especially since the book description mentions going to the creepy, weird Airbnb, I expected to have a little bit more, maybe of a haunted house type thing going on. And there was just nothing there. So I don't know why that was a major point, major enough to be on the book description. Because it did nothing for me.
So much more time in the fever dream.
Yes.
In the dream setting itself than we did in the Airbnb. Which, fun fact about me, so actually my partner was born in Hollywood, Florida, and moved to Seattle.
Huh.
Just like in the book.
That's so funny.
So when they were talking about Hollywood, Florida, I was like, that's funny.
That is funny. Look at that.
But yeah, it's just like, we spent more time in the dream. Why don't we talk about that than we did?
Yeah. I skimmed a lot. I zoned in again when Cal was talking about her dance that she was going to, and she walked out and found the people, I guess, like beating Dre, and she like beat the crap out of them with her stiletto heel. And I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna get like some good backstory that seems real and not the dream. And then I just kind of zoned out again, and I was trying to pay attention toward the end, but honestly, she had lost me so much by that point that I just wanted it to be over.
They threw so much, because, there was, once we got to more about Hollywood, Florida, there was like, oh, suddenly there's this detention pond they're hanging out. Oh, wait, now Dre does the spray painting, the tagging, but but then how does that fit into who he is, where he's like OCD? Did the OCD come later? And I still don't fully understand why Dre wasn't participating and taking care of his brother.
He's a selfish shit. That's why. I had huge problems with Dre and with Jamie. Like, I am still Team Calla. That scene in the argument that they're having in the cabin, number one, it went on a bit too long and was repetitive, but it made me so pissed because they were gaslighting her so much about what she does for them. And she finally called them on their shit. And they tell her to leave. They are only there because she convinced her kind of sort of boyfriend, who's not even a boyfriend, to like borrow his car to get them out. And I could not stand these ungrateful little brothers because, she's not perfect, but she keeps trying, and she maybe gives too much. And maybe that's just the woman in me, because I feel like the woman is always the one giving more in like mothering type relationships. And so maybe that's just me identifying with that, and other readers who are male would be like, the brother's got a point, like they're not so bad, cut them some slack. But I just, I was so pissed at them when they made her leave the house, because she did not deserve that. Ever.
Jamie was horrible. Jamie was fucking horrible. There's no redeeming quality that he had. And they tried to make him so redeeming by presenting him as the little boy in the book and like, oh, he's going to do big things. But no, they were still freaking children and immature in the dream. There was no saving.
No, I did not. And Dre just, saying, oh yeah, I'll be there, and then never being there, classic deadbeat dad fashion, like, what the hell? Like just man up. Yeah, your sister doesn't want to be doing this either. She's tired too. Why can't you see this? And that's just selfishness. And I don't like that, And like, I'm an only child. Watching people put up with this nonsense from siblings to me is a very weird concept because I don't have siblings. So if somebody annoys me to that extent, I just cut them out because I don't have to deal with them because they're not family.
Yeah.
So the fact that she keeps going back and taking care of them, to me, I think that's another disconnect for me with this novel personally, is that I can't understand that sibling relationship.
But just think about any family member who you don't let go of and you keep meeting for dinner and...
Yeah, I cut them out too eventually. If they're toxic, it's taken a lot of therapy, but I've learned to do that. And I am the better for it. And whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. But I know my mental health is a lot better.
Well, I can promise you, I have 2 sisters and I don't talk to them at all. They are officially cut out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am the Calla in the thing.
Yeah. The Calla didn't cut him out. She just kept going back for more. And she is only 24. She's young. I don't know if she mentioned she had therapy or not, but maybe,
25, excuse
25.
me. 25.
I wonder, I would be curious to see if a 35-year-old Calla would be taking the same shit from these guys that she takes.
I just don't know how her now boyfriend took that shit. Like, isn't his car like fucked up now?
Yeah. And who just lends their car to people? I don't lend my car to people. Number one, no one's ever come to me asking to borrow my car for a getaway of any kind. Like, what did she tell him that she needed it for? It wasn't to go to the Stop and Shop.
I need to borrow your car.
No. No. It's weird. It's odd.
It's Seattle. I'm dead serious. I can see people doing this in Seattle. Yeah.
But, like, isn't it against insurance policies or something to have, like, people drive your car who aren't allowed to drive your car?
Technically, but it doesn't mean if I'm not in a bad situation, I need someone else to drive my car, that I'm not going to let them drive my car.
That's true. I have been driven to the hospital by a friend who drove my car. But that's like an extenuating circumstance.
If I have a panic attack and I can't drive in this area because it's just too much.
But that's like, again, that's an extenuating circumstance. If you're just like, hey, I need to borrow your car to go vacationing with my brothers.
I doubt that the insurance company will see it that way. But yeah. I mean, not to out myself, but I mean, I have let my mother-in-law drive my car. But she's also let me drove that. I've also driven her, so.
Yeah. So letting somebody drive your car for a little bit is fine, but like actually
another state.
So at least this book was a horror book. We've had a string of books where we're like, is this horror? And I would agree that this is a absolute horror book. I wish that for me the horror points weren't as lost in the other elements because I would have liked to see a bit more of that, but at least it was a horror book. There was some weird shit going on here.
We need like a sound effect here that's like ding 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 ding.
We do. We absolutely do. Yes.
It passes the horror test. I mean, this book was gruesome.
Yeah.
From the bloody scale, there's quite a few drops of blood. If you like made like a pretty graphic here and. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say, like, a full syringe of blood here or, like, a blood bag, but we got some...
It was gruesome. There were some detailed scenes, I feel.
It wasn't Grady Hendrix level, I will say that.
No, but it wasn't.
I find the stepping on the glass part to be very interesting. Like, did that happen in the real version?
You're asking the wrong girl. I think that... I don't know. I don't know.
She's like, I don't remember this book.
I don't know what's real. I don't know what's fake. It's just the whole world is topsy-turvy right now. I don't know.
But yeah, it was a little gruesome at times, especially when they're talking like the blown off hand.
Yeah.
And,
that was gross. Yeah. But at least it was horror, and that's good.
I appreciate that. It was horror for once.
Yeah, we definitely need to have a horror bell that we ring.
All right, maybe I'll look for one. But yeah, I wish there was more to say.
That's one of the reasons that I decided we should talk about what we're currently reading, watching, and doing, because I'm like, I am not going to have a lot to say about this book because, one, I didn't love it, and two, I checked out. but I do agree with you that this was a very unique book. That's what gives it the 1 star for me, that there's a unique way of storytelling that this author has. I love the ideas in the book. Like, I wish I could have enjoyed it more because that ending sounds fan-fucking-tastic and amazing. And I think that Neena is a very good writer. I really like a lot of her style. I think she just needs a better developmental editor to cut some things out that are repetitive.
I know, and this is St. Martin's.
Yeah, there's a lot going on these days with the trad publishing world that I'm a little suspicious of.
And these big names, the big publishing houses, are just kind of letting us down. Mm-hmm. And they claim it's because they don't have enough money and blah, 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 but bullshit. I call bullshit.
I definitely feel I could have gotten through this book better if it was just more tightly woven together. And more again, maybe explaining. I'm not
a little bit more explaining of how we get places. A little bit more explaining.
Exactly. And I get maybe that wasn't the feel she was going for, that she wanted that whole confusion, which can be an artistic thing, but I feel like it didn't completely land well enough for me to enjoy what I read.
I also feel like there has to be a little bit more explaining when it comes to horror, when you're trying to just describe aspects of things that are going on as well, so that people can follow you, and stuff that you can kind of you can get away with in literary fiction that you can't entirely get away with in horror. Because you need to paint the scene. Like, if you're going to do a sword fight in something, if you're not properly describing what's happening in the sword fight and then the ending comes and no one knows what happened, you can't just wax poetically and just hope that they get the ending. You got to like actually get some hardcore descriptions in there into the event. And I think that happens a lot. And no, I actually did not like the beginning. The beginning actually turned me off. I did not like the bra conversation stuff.
I loved that. I thought that was so, like, fresh and different and honest. Because I've definitely had those moments. I, too, am a buxom young lady. And I have also known when it is a sports bra time and when it is not a sports bra time. And
she was at work. Like, how did she not wear a good one anyway? Was she run down at work?
It is hard. She made good bras are very expensive. And since she seems to be an underpaid 24-year-old, 25-year-old who does not make much money, because who does at 25 years old? She's probably not getting top quality bras. Cal and I could have a conversation of where she could go to get these things.
Okay, well, I need to have a conversation with you too. Because I have been cursed. But yeah, no, would you read another book by her?
I would, because again, I liked the first part of what I read a lot. I have hopes for her. I would just have to, I give it a try. I give it a try.
That's a huge compliment.
I was going to say I have to see what the book says, but this is what the book says, and I was like, this sounds great, and then I didn't end up not liking it. But yeah, I would give it a try. Definitely.
At least I will say, I do think that this book delivered exactly the back, and it delivered the point of the story that it promised. Because I do find that has been happening somewhere. It's like, we're just not getting the delivery of what you promised the book is about. But again, I love the nightmare aspect. That is not something I've seen before, and it's just I thought it was really interesting that she also like broke herself up, and the versions. I put the idea behind it is that the versions that were broken apart from her were the ones that had a traumatic moment happen to them, because you have the little girl, which I believe is a version that happened at the very beginning, and then you have
your little thing.
You have the prom one that was essentially when she saw Dre and like.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's the points when she had to give up something of herself.
I couldn't tell. My husband was asking me what the points were, and I think they were traumatic things she witnessed, but I couldn't really be sure.
Because like the problem was not only that she witnessed something traumatic, but it was the moment that she lost her ability to have a friend, and she lost her ability to enjoy that moment at the prom.
Yeah.
And things like that. And then there was the college one, which she lost her ability to go to South Africa
thing.
And she had to give up something to be there for her family. So, because there wasn't really something traumatic there. It's just every time she had to lose some of herself to protect her family or do something for her family.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad when you think about it. And like,
I know. I wanted to give her a hug so many times and be like, honey, you are doing a good job. You are doing the best job that someone who's barely more than a kid could do, you know? It was impressive.
Her family's fucked up for not, like, She gave up a lot to take care of them. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just giving up her life to, like, watch him when he was older. It was also, like, giving up her life so she didn't go to South Africa, giving up her life because she
Yeah.
didn't have a good prom. Like, god damn it, they owed her so much more. And just giving her
Yeah.
money for her prom dress was not enough.
Yeah. I did like the scene. Again, I felt like it came after already hearing the same complaint a million times, but I like the scene where she mentioned that she would go over to her friends who had babies and they'd be all happy with their little perfect quiet babies, with all this promise ahead. And she has Jamie, who it's so different raising a teen from raising a baby. And even though, these friends had kids, she was still miles away from them because, like, mentally, because it's such a different experience. And she couldn't even find any camaraderie with her friends who had a kid because it's a completely different experience. And I like that she pointed that out and how difficult it is and how alienating it is, even when you're with somebody who should understand but still can't.
Nope. Oh, and then there's the neighbor who started a GoFundMe at the end of the book. And it was all his money anyway.
Totally missed that.
That's okay. All right, friends. Well, do you have anything, listeners, that you want to add? Say in the comments below. Did you like or dislike the book?
And are you changing your rating at all, Kate?
No, I think 3 stars, because at least, I got the end.
I will still give it the 1 star with the caveat that I did not fully read the ending and take my review with a cup of salt instead of a grain.
To be honest, with the way that it ended, I actually thought that you would have been giving it a 2 star, because even though you didn't like it, you would like the idea and the concept and everything. So clearly it makes sense because you didn't read the end.
I tried. I really did. I tried so hard. I even purposely slowed down toward the end because I'm like, you're going to have to figure something out. This is going to be the moment that everything comes together.
Nope. Not at all. Mm-mm. That's okay. We'll forgive you. Sometimes, we can't make it through every book in the best way possible. All right, listeners, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe so that other viewers and listeners are having a way to find us as well. Don't forget, we're also audio only on Spotify, Apple, and iHeart.
iHeart.
Which is funny. I actually got asked if we were on iHeart the other day. So
yes, we are.
We are on iHeart, to the best of my knowledge.
We are. I've seen us there. I've looked it up. We are there.
Yay! Well, thank you so much, friends. Make sure if you need to get a copy for yourself to use our bookshop.org link below. Otherwise, we will see you in 2 weeks.